Hey folks, I'm glad you're here. My name is Chris, and this is the Sons of Seaver YouTube channel where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Today, my brother Eric and I are going to be talking about the new Splay Rev. We've been in love with Splay ever since we tried their Freestyle 1.0, and ever since we tried that shoe, we've been talking about how much we would love to have that shoe, but in a high top version. With the Rev, that dream has somewhat come to life. The way that Splay positions this shoe is actually specifically as a skate shoe. We think that it works really well outside that purview, but we'll get into why. We're going to talk about our likes and our dislikes of this shoe. If you're interested in jumping around to different parts of the video, there are timestamps down in the description. And as always, if there's something that we don't mention as we're talking about our likes and dislikes that you wanted to know about when it comes to this shoe, let us know down in the comment section and we'll try our best to answer those questions. But for now, I'm going to pass things over to Eric to start us off with his likes of the Rev.
Okay, getting into my likes of the Splay Rev. The first thing that I'm going to say is that I love the purpose that this shoe is built for. This is a dedicated barefoot skate shoe. So it's been built for the purpose of skateboarding, and I think it's really cool that Splay is going into that territory. As far as we know, this is the very first dedicated skateboard shoe that is barefoot. If there are other ones and you know about them, let us know down in the comments because we'd love to check them out. But as far as we know, Splay is breaking new ground here, and I just think that's really awesome for them to innovate in that way. With this new lineup that they have going on, they're really leaning into being the barefoot Vans replacement that we have always said that they are. If you watch our reviews of the first versions of the Freestyle and the Explorer, we say that in that video. These are great replacement for Vans. And if you look at their new lineup, this shoe and that new slip-on that they have, that goes even harder. They're leaning into that a lot, and I really, really like it because, like I've said before, it was really difficult for me to give up my Vans when I transitioned into barefoot shoes, and now with these shoes, I don't feel like I have given them up. These are the perfect replacements for them as far as their function goes, as far as their style goes, and I really appreciate that about the Rev and with everything else that they're coming out with too in their new lineup of shoes. I also really appreciate the build quality of these things. The materials that they're being made out of are really nice. This is a cotton canvas upper, and it's got these suede accents here along the eyelets and also on the heel. So I think pretty quality materials. This also seems like a very nice rubber that they're using for the outsole, and I love how far it wraps up on the toe. That's going to give you a lot of protection. Obviously, that's meant for skateboards, right? You're going to be dragging your toe across the rough surface of the board, so you need a lot of protection there, but at the same time it doesn't lose its barefoot qualities. Even having this rubber outsole and wrapping up so much, it's still very flexible in every possible way that you need it to be a barefoot shoe. So there is a 6.5 millimeter base underneath your foot, and then there's a 4 millimeter insole, and I find that to be just right for active endeavors like skateboarding and things like that. If you're going to be having a lot of impact forces, you do want a little bit of extra squish under your foot. A 4 millimeter insole is a little bit on the thicker side, but I think that it suits the purpose of the shoe very well. And if you want to have as much barefoot feel as possible, then take the insole out and you'll just have that 6.5 millimeters. So I think it does a really good job as far as that stack height goes and giving you a little bit of versatility there. This thing looks amazing. Some people were saying that they wish that the black and gum colorway was in their new lineup, and now it is with this awesome high top version. Like Chris said before, we've been waiting for a high top from Splay, and this one totally delivers. We love pretty much everything about it. So let's send it over to him now so that he can tell you about his likes of the shoe.
Getting into my likes of the Splay Rev, the first thing that I want to mention is the classic Splay Barefoot features. The Barefoot features are the ones that are most important to me. That first one being how wide the toe box is. This is going to be just as wide as their new slip-on, just as wide as their new Splay 101. I love the toe box from Splay. In general, it gives me plenty of room for my toes to splay out, and that is a very important feature for me. The next thing I want to mention is how freaking flat these things are. Obviously, they're going to be zero drop. They're also one of the flattest shoes right out of the box. Some barefoot shoes still have a little bit of toe spring. You usually don't notice it once you put your foot in and you start walking around. Some you do. Some it feels like your toes are being lifted up. This one is really flat right out of the box. You can see a little bit of swoop, but you will never notice the feel of any toe spring from this guy because of how flat it is. This thing is 10.5 millimeters with the insole, and I believe the insole little as 3 or 4 millimeters. So you can take that bad boy out and get a bit closer to the ground. That's going to provide some pretty decent flexibility in this guy. All of these features are fantastic in my opinion for lifting weights. So yes, this is posited as a skate shoe, but I think it also works really, really nicely in the gym, just like every pair of Splays has for me so far. I fell in love with using the Freestyle 1.0 in the gym, and I love using the Rev, especially if you're a fan of the high top lifting shoes. If you like something like a Nike Pump or you use Chuck Taylors, this thing is going to give you that same feel and that same vibe, but with those foot healthy features. Because of the flatness and how close you get to the ground with the stack height, this is going to be great for stationary movements like deadlifts, like squats, like reverse lunges. All of those things are going to be really nice in a pair of Revs. Moving on to my next like, I think these things look dang good. This brings a little bit of versatility into these shoes because I don't think they are just meant for skating. That may be the way that Splay is advertising them, but I think these look so good casually. If you want to wear these out on a date, honestly, if you want to wear these to church, if you get the right colorway, you're gonna get away with it because these things are just so dang good looking. The last thing I want to mention is the price point that these come in at. These come in at $88. If you use our discount code Sons of Seaver at checkout, it's going to save you 10%. You can bring these things down to 80 bucks. And that is a steal for a shoe with these barefoot qualities coming in at this form factor. That $80 price point is an absolute steal for a pair of Revs. With our likes of the Rev out of the way, it's time to get into our dislikes, but first we want to mention some affiliates, one of which is Splay. We have loved Splays again since we tried the Freestyle 1.0. They have fantastic barefoot features across all of their models. They also come in at a fantastic price point. Again, you can use our link down in the description to get over to their website and then use code Sons of Seaver at checkout to save yourself 10% on whatever pair you end up deciding to go with. I promise you won't be disappointed by your Splays.
Okay, when it comes to my dislikes of the shoe, there's one thing that I want to harp on, and that is that it's pretty difficult to get on. There aren't really even enough laces to get it through this top eyelet. And if there was, it would be even harder to get on. I have to loosen it quite a bit to get my foot to be able to get in this thing. So it could definitely use a pull tab and maybe just a little more engineering so that we can figure out a way to slip our feet into it more easily. But that is like my only real gripe about it. If there's anything else that I might say would be an improvement, it would just be more colorways. The colorways that they have right now are pretty basic and very safe, and I think a lot of people are gonna bite on that, but I would love a red version of this. I'd take a blue version of it. And one thing that I really appreciated about Vans is all the really cool collaborations that they always have. They've got different things like Disney characters that they put on their shoes every once in a while, and a Splay shoe like that would be over the top amazing. So I know that's probably tough for a small company to pull off, but if they could get some bolder colorways and things like that and really have some fun with the designs on these shoes, I would really love that. And I think a lot of other people would like it as well. So when it comes to my final opinion of this shoe, I think they knocked it out of the park. We've been wanting a high top from Splay for so long, and we love everything about this shoe. We love the style that it has. We love the way that it's been built. We love the purpose that it was built for. We definitely think that you need to go and check it out. Keep in mind, we do have an affiliate link in our description that really helps the channel out for us to keep getting gear in our hands and keep getting reviews out to you. And just know this is one that we highly recommend. We love this shoe. Let's send you back over to Chris now so that he can give you his dislikes as well as his final opinion of the Splay Rev.
Getting into my dislikes of the Rev, the first thing that I want to mention is something that I think I've had an issue with almost every single pair of Splays except the slip-on, because the tongue has kind of this bungee material on it. But the fact that they chose not to sew the tongue up along the sides at all or add some kind of stretchy gusset is a real downside to me, just because even though we have this spot where the laces go through the tongue, it still manages to do a bending and twisting thing. It's never sunken down or anything like that on me, but I hate the way that it moves side to side. So I'd love to see some kind of solution to that. Personal preference would be some kind of bungee gusset in here. I think it would look better, I think it would feel better, and it would keep that tongue from moving on me. The next thing I want to mention kind of goes hand in hand with Eric's dislike of how they're difficult to get on. I think it just needs a heel loop. If they put a little heel loop here that was strong and functional, I know it kind of looks like pretty clean without it. I don't think that the heel loop would make a big difference aesthetically, and I think it would make a world of difference when it comes to getting this thing on. Getting into my final opinion of the Splay Rev. Would I recommend this to somebody or not? Absolutely, especially if you're specifically looking for a cotton canvas high top barefoot sneaker. I think this is probably a front runner. There's only one other company that comes to mind around the same price point, and that is Rutsu, their original barefoot sneaker. We got those in recently. They're probably gonna go toe to toe at some point, but I'll tell you right now, I think I like the barefoot features of the Splay better right off the bat, but we're going to do some more testing in order to make that comparison. Those come in at $80. These again you can get for $80 with our discount code Sons of Seaver at checkout, so it's kind of apples to apples when it comes to price. But the barefoot features of this guy are going to beat out a lot of other companies. The wideness of the toe box, the zero drop, the minimalism, the flatness. This thing is just checking all of the boxes for me, except maybe those two things that I mentioned in my dislikes. So again, if you're looking for something in this form factor, a high top cotton canvas barefoot shoe, I don't think you can do much better than the new Splay Rev. Folks, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. All those things really help the channel out. If you're interested in any of the products that we talked about in this video, there will be links to them down in the description. If we have discount codes for any of those companies, they will be featured with the links. If you want to get more content from us, there are 3 different places you can get it. The first one is Patreon, where for $1 a month, you can get exclusive behind-the-scenes content we don't post anywhere else. If you want to be most up to date with what we are working on, make sure to follow us on Instagram, where we are constantly posting unboxing videos. Go follow us on Strava if you're interested in seeing mini reviews in real time of the products we're using and what we're using them for. Strava allows you to track and post about your different activities. We track and post about our runs, trail runs, hikes, paddleboarding, and weightlifting, and we do little mini reviews on the products we're using during those activities. Go follow us there, and we will follow you back. We appreciate your view, and as always, we will catch you in the mountains.